There is big news in the gold industry because it involves the separation of the world's biggest bullion refining and transit hub and one of the world's biggest gold refiners. We'll talk about it and the impact that it could have on the gold market as we explore. When most of us buy gold, the most important thing is that it is actually gold, that it is the purity and the weight that we expect. That is the most important thing, but obviously there are other factors that come into play. A lot of them have to do with sourcing gold as well too, and that is at the centerpiece of this story about Reuters reporting here about Swiss precious metals refinery Valami that has just resigned from the Swiss Association of Precious Metals Manufacturers and Traders after 40 years of membership due to irreconcilable differences, both said in statements that have just been reported here. In fact, Bloomberg has a piece on it as well that goes into more detail as about what's going on. But really, there's a lot of backstory that's missing from this. So if you enjoy videos like this where I report on the news with regards to precious metals, I hope you would consider subscribing to the channel and pressing that like button down below. It certainly does help the algorithm and to get the news out. And so what I like to do on this channel is to report on news with regards to gold and silver. And in this case, this is a doozy that could definitely shake up the whole industry, as this is a massive 40-year agreement that they've had and cooperation with each other. And now that is being tested. Well, it's separated, but it's testing the entirety of the gold market. Valami has resigned from the Swiss Gold Refining Association after a disagreement over where it sources its gold. Ticino-based Valami left the Swiss Association of Precious Metals Manufacturers and Traders, which coordinates communications and lobbying on behalf of the industry and requires members to sign a code of conduct due to irreconcilable differences, the association said in a statement. Valami confirmed this departure in a statement, which indicated the disagreement related to the origin of its gold supplies. Sourcing and supply chains have become a key focus in the gold market, given the difficulty in determining the origin of metal that often exists outside of the banking sector and can be remelted countless times. The world's top precious metals refinery has faced scrutiny in recent years from local media and non-governmental organizations for sourcing gold from the United Arab Emirates, where opaque supply chains can make it difficult to determine whether the metal has been responsibly sourced. In fact, I actually covered this topic in a video before, that Dubai and the United Arab Emirates and the gold trade there, that they were going to crack down on, what is known as blood gold and gold that's utilized, sourced irresponsibly, both based off of environmental concerns and money that would go towards terrorists, for instance, or in war-torn countries. But nonetheless, this opaque supply chains makes it difficult to determine whether the metal has been responsibly sourced or not. Other large Swiss refineries have stated policies against purchasing gold from the United Arab Emirates. Valami doesn't agree on the position of some members of the board to exclude certain countries of origin. The company said in a statement, pretending gold from dubious origin will not enter the Swiss market by excluding direct supplies from specific countries is not the correct approach, is what they are saying. That's their argument. Now, this goes back. There's an earlier report from swissinfo.ch that has a piece on this that was written quite a while ago, actually a couple months ago here, and how Swiss precious metals refiner Valami continued to import gold from precious metal dealer and refiner Kelotti after 2009, according to an investigation by Swiss public broadcaster RTS. The Dubai-based company has been accused of money laundering and trading in gold from conflict areas. So this piece here on that goes back to December the 3rd, 2020, the Central Office for Precious Metals conducted an on-site inspection at the Valcambi plant in Canton, Ticino, where it discovered gold of suspect provenance, which had come directly from a refinery in Dubai called MTM, belonging to the Kaloti Group. The names may be unfamiliar to the public at large, but in the world of precious metals, Kaloti and its MTM plant are synonymous with dirty gold. I've done several videos about dirty gold and how it has come through even the port of Miami, through the Western Hemisphere, and how some of the gold has been done through the drug cartels and the like. It's a pretty big story, but we've not heard much about it in recent years here. The company has been embroiled in allegations of drug money laundering and the marketing of gold from conflict zones in Sudan. So that's kind of what the backstory is on this. And the article here on Swiss Info goes into much more detail about it. But nonetheless, what is this? The LBMA certificate guarantee. That is what is most important here, according to what they're saying. The purity of the bullion and the responsible provenance of the gold. It must not come from war zones or criminal networks. The LBMA label, the seller can market the gold anywhere and gain access to the most finicky buyers, including central banks. When contacted by RTS, the refiner LBMA replied in writing that the business relationship between Valcambi and Kaloti was not problematic. We closely monitor the companies we certify and have business relations in areas identified as a risk. There is currently no problem with buying gold from the United Arab Emirates as long as it's responsibly sourced. So for LBMA, everything is officially above board. Off the record, though, the certifier asked RTS to keep it abreast of any findings from the investigation. So that's the other side of the story here. The LBMA sees no problem here, but the Swiss trading hub, that they do. It makes you wonder what's going on here and to see if it's something political or what have you. Political in the sense of, relationships and maybe kickbacks or whatever through some of these companies. And maybe Valcambi's just not playing along, so they're out. Maybe Pamp Suisse is very, very in good standing with them, but Valcambi Swiss is not now. Interesting. So in October of 2020, Valcambi CEO Michael Miserik responded to Swiss Aid's criticisms in the Daily Le Temps. We comply with all the rules imposed on us. And we have even go further by asking sellers to sign a declaration of compliance. We conduct all necessary checks to ensure that the suspect gold does not enter Valcambi's value chain, and we strive to constantly improve our practices. And so, yes, so very fascinating indeed. Now, in the Bernard Zutnog newspaper in October of 2020, Valcambi's boss further stated, "We have no business relations with Kaloti for the year 2019." But there is a report that showed that they did were delivering gold to Valcambi at that time and even up until December 2020. RTS has no evidence to suggest that this business relationship still exists, however. So there's some nuance here, and there's a lot to digest, but the separation definitely means there's going to be maybe a splitting, maybe perhaps even that might empower Dubai, the Dubai gold market. And you will see maybe gold being utilized and transferred through Dubai more often, as Valcambi very well could latch on there and give them some credence, and perhaps we could see two major gold refining and transit hubs, one in Dubai and one in Switzerland. The Swiss gold market is primarily responsible for the flow of gold between central banks. And I think that is fascinating to see how maybe in Dubai we may see gold being flowed through BRICS nations and Eastern nations, whereas Switzerland may be the Western hub, and the LBMA may be, perhaps, the agency that will side with the Swiss. And so the Swiss will no longer be real independent, or they don't have their neutral stance in regards to some of this. Now they're starting to take a stance. And now we see Valcambi separate themselves. So who knows? Could this send this ripple effect across the whole gold market, and we start to see a separation in two gold markets emerge in Europe? Now we have the Asian market as well too, which is just kind of its own entity, Shanghai Gold Exchange and the like. We've talked about that, especially with their beef with the Perth Mint. So it's interesting. Fascinating to see how these things will take place now with this big news. Let me know what your thoughts are. I tell you what, nothing's really been proven. It's a separation here. I've bought some Valcambi gold, as you see here. Will continue. I'd like to have some pretty attractive gold pieces. I've not seen any evidence that they're operating and not in good faith, but who knows? The associations with some companies and what have you. The LBMA sees no problem. I kind of don't see any problem with it either, but nonetheless, it's very interesting. But how it will affect the market in general, well, likely spot price and everything like that is not going to be affected by this too much. It's just how you get gold, the availability of some of the products may change in due course. And I'm not saying that Valcambi products, if they become less available because of this news by bullion dealers, that the existing products, such as the bars that you see and even rounds, will go up in price or value. I don't think that's going to happen. There's just too many of them out there. But nonetheless, very interesting news indeed. It's what I like to do on the channel, is keep up with the latest news that comes across my desk. And let me know what your thoughts are on the story. Hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.